Hi there. I'm here to talk to you about time travel. Now, there's a lot of science fiction and fantasy about time travel, and I think it actually exists. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the Canadian government knows that it exists and maybe has their own time machine. Why do I know this? Well, it's simple. Take something like this. This here is a Canadian $1 coin, commonly known as a loonie. There's also a $2 coin called the toonie. Now, years ago, a few years back, the Canadian government started changing the money, started putting designs over it, little bits of foil, something that would make it updated and spiffy. And whereas other countries, like the United States, for instance, hadn't actually changed their money, and a $1 bill was from 1985 was virtually indistinguishable from one from 1938. So the big problem is, if you've got coinage or paper money or something like that, you can go back into time and really screw things up. If I had a time machine and the wherewithal, the money, I could go back in time and buy the first issue of Superman, which went for like 15 cents or something like that. Bring it to the future, or put it away in someplace safe. Pick it up when I get back to the future, which would be our present, and then I'd be rich, because this thing, what I paid 15 cents for would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, I think that's what the Canadian government has done. They've put a moratorium on time travel by simply saying, we're changing the money so that you can't go back in time and screw things up. Like, for instance, if I were to go back to like 1958, the year I was born, and I went into the Grey Cup Cafe in Medicine Hat and ordered a turkey salad sandwich and a coffee and tried to pay for it with modern money, modern Canadian money, they'd kick me out because, well, it would be considered to be counterfeit or strange, or what they used to call queer. The Canadian government has also done it, carried it a little farther than that. They probably have a time machine and have said to other countries, okay, look, guys, we are Canada, we do not have nuclear weapons. However, you guys do. And if you go out of your way to start a nuclear war, we will go back in time. We will send peacekeepers back in time to do something to your government, to your economy, or to something that will really screw up any chances of you, the aggressors, or the people with nuclear weapons, of ever becoming nuclear powers. And so I think that's probably what kept the world safe from being, obliterated in a nuclear conflict, is the fact that we had the time travel capabilities, and we would gleefully go back in time and basically turn you back into the Stone Age. That's just my thing. Fairly simple. To build a time machine, you need a solid cylinder of rock that's about 100 miles long and 10 miles wide out in space, and you get it spinning at half the speed of light. That's your time machine. That's your basic, simple time-space warp thing, time machine. And you just fly a ship into the eddies that is created by this object spinning at half the speed of light, and you'll travel through time. Now, the biggest problem is not the actual travel through time, but controlling your travel through time. In science fiction shows and in books and stuff like this, they just punch a few dials, turn a few knobs and say, I want to go back to the year 1497. Or, 1491, screw up Columbus so he doesn't come to the New World and, enslave the people. So, in literature, that's the thing. You just spin some dials, say a number, boom, you go back there. Well, that's the problem. In order to actually go from where we are into the time eddies and end up where we want to be, takes an awful lot of math. And anybody that knows me will know that math is not my thing. I am not very good at math. Never have been, never will be. So, if you're going to travel through time, getting a time machine is easy. Controlling it, now that's the hard part. Probably have their own version of time travel. Let's say aliens from the planet Zarvod want to study Earth. Now, they're not going to send their best and their brightest scientists here because, well, it's a long way and it's dangerous, and we really have a bad attitude towards aliens. So what they do is they send a robot ship. Now, let's say the planet Zarvod is 200 light years from Earth. Now, theoretically, you can only travel at the speed of light. So it's going to take 200 years to get here. But they're in a hurry. So what they do is they take their ship, drop it into time, take it back 200 years into their past, fly it to Earth. By the time it gets to Earth here, it's present time, our time, present time, their time, so they can send messages back and forth about all the things they've discovered. And when they're finished their survey or whatever they do, we know what they do. When they're finished doing what they do, they then fly the ship out into space, drop it back down 200 years into the past, fly it back to the planet Zarvod, and it'll arrive pretty much a few days after it left with all this information. Now, while the ship is here, it's aliens from planet Zarvod, send this robot ship here. It needs a crew. So what they do is they send down robots to get biosamples from Earth, usually cow tongue, because it's a cow's tongue is very muscular. It's like the most muscular muscle on any body. You know, like human, cow, anything. It's possibly the strongest muscle in the body, and therefore great for making, you know, as a building block source. So they take these cow tongues back to the spaceship and grow new aliens. Now, this brings up the new reason of okay, remember during the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s, there were all these stories about people being beamed up to ships and then being examined, and they'd get put back, and they'd be traumatized. Oh, they did things to me. Oh, it was awful. Well, there haven't been all that many stories lately about, you know, people getting beamed up and probed and all that jazz because, well, people are still being beamed up, but the aliens have learned that they can get other sources of protein strings off the human body by doing liposuction. So people are beamed up, they're liposuction, they're beamed back, and you know they find themselves in their houses, they're in their apartments, and they look in the mirror and go, "Oh, I was beamed up. I'm traumatized, but you know, I don't look that bad. Maybe next time they'll give me a bit of a lift and tuck." What do you think?